it's time for our featured free game of the day, Alabama against Tennessee. Tennessee is a 7-point home underdog in Neyland. I just got to say, man, this game gets me so excited. I think this is going to be one of the best games of the year. Maybe I'm overhyping it. And clearly, I thought Alabama was going to run away with the Texas game, and that was the game of the year. I thought Alabama was going to run away against Texas A&M, and that would turn out to be a great game as well. And that leads me into why I think this game is going to be so good. In Alabama's two biggest games this season, they've struggled. Granted, Texas A&M was without Bryce Young, and Texas, granted, was without Quinn Ewers. So who's to say? But Bryce Young is now questionable for tomorrow's game. I believe it's a 3:30 kick at Neyland in Tennessee, in Knoxville. But Bryce Young's questionable. He's still dealing with that AC joint sprain that he suffered against Arkansas. Didn't play last week against Texas A&M, and Alabama didn't look too hot. We don't know. It'll probably be a game time decision. We probably won't know until an hour before kickoff. He'll probably go through warmups, and we really won't know. If Bryce Young, though, isn't playing and he is doubtful, if his injury status changes to doubtful or out, this line's going to move a lot. This line's probably going to go from Tennessee +7 to Tennessee +3.5, something like that. It's going to cut down drastically. And I'm going to tell you right now, before I break down into the betting angles and break down what this game means and break down why I think it, I'm just going to tell you off the jump. I'm on Tennessee money line. Tennessee's +220 money line, and I'm all over that. If you look here, the power line likes this one right where it is. They think Alabama -7. Estimate number 1 thinks Tennessee loses by 10. Estimate number 2 thinks they lose by 6. So nothing too crazy in terms of what the data thinks. It's probably right on the money. But there's just something about it. Tennessee will be without key defensive back Jalen McCulloch because he was arrested. So that is something to keep in mind. And, Tennessee hasn't been great at home against excellent defensive teams. And we're going to define that by they allow less than 285 yards per game. You see, Alabama allows 251 yards per game, 3.8 yards per play. They're 5-22 against the spread since 1992 at home in that scenario. So that does worry me. Josh Heupel, though, is 8-1 against the spread in home games against teams that average 60-plus penalty yards, and that's where I'm really keying in on this. Alabama hasn't looked crisp. Alabama hasn't looked like the Alabama that we know. They've had some penalty problems, especially in big games. Just look back at that Texas game. That was a big reason Texas was in it, even without Quinn Ewers late in that one. I don't think Alabama has enough in the tank to beat Tennessee. Tennessee is one of, if not the best team in the SEC right now, if you're looking at it from a EPA measure, efficiency measure. Hendon Hooker is in the Heisman running. Bryce Young, unfortunately, no longer really in the Heisman running because of the injury. Tennessee's the 5th best team in EPA. They're 4th in offense, 13th in defense. Alabama's offense has struggled this season. And by struggle, I mean they're 26th in EPA this season, which is better than, over 100 teams. But for Alabama standards, not necessarily where they want to be, but they are 4th in defense, and that's a big reason why they've been winning games. They're 7th overall in expected points added, according to CFB graphs. But I think Tennessee is going to go into Neyland. I think they're going to feed off of the energy of the stadium, and home field advantage matters so much more in college football than it does in the NFL. And Tennessee +220 looks like an amazing best bet to me. Tennessee 5-0 this season, 4-1 against the spread. Alabama 6-0, 4-2 against the spread. Give me the Volunteers to win this game. And I might be crazy for thinking that, but I think Hendon Hooker is a fantastic quarterback, and I think he's the better quarterback in this game. Even if Bryce Young plays, I think he's better than an injured Bryce Young. Josh Heupel's a fantastic coach, and I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that he's better than Nick Saban, but Josh Heupel's a darn good coach. And I mean, Tennessee, their defense is right around the same area as Alabama's. They allow just 18 points per game, just 5.2 yards per play. And these two offenses very similar. Alabama has a little bit more of a cupcakeness to it. Tennessee's played some teams. Tennessee's, already taken down a few ranked opponents. If we look at the results so far this season, Tennessee's taken down Pitt at Pitt, tough game. They went and they hosted Florida, won that one by 5. And then just last week, they went to LSU in Baton Rouge, number 25 LSU, and just destroyed them, won that one 40-13. So that's why I'm on Tennessee +7. I think Alabama's a really good football team, but I don't know if they have a banged-up Bryce Young, or even if he doesn't go, even more so. I think this line drastically moves very quickly. Give me Tennessee +220 to win this game, and I absolutely love it. I can't wait for that game. I'm so excited for it. 3:30 kickoff, I believe on CBS. But it's a 3:30 kickoff. And before we get up on out of here, as always, we've got to recap the best bets. Last time out, we went 1-3. We were on Bears, didn't hit. We were on Justin Fields over rush yards. That hit. I don't want to talk about Carson Wentz and Justin Fields pass yards. Tonight, we're on UTSA -33 at FIU. That's going to be a tough one. But we got to keep that game somewhat interesting to be on the edge of our seats until the very end. We're on Michigan -7 against Penn State. Michigan's numbers are far better than Penn State's numbers, but that is a little bit inflated due to Michigan's cupcake schedule. But I think Michigan's been hearing all the talk the last few weeks. Near upset against Maryland, and they didn't look great against Indiana. They didn't look great against Iowa. Now they're back home, and this is an opportunity to put a stamp on their season, have a signature win, and take down number 10 Penn State at home. Big-time spot for the Wolverines. And I'm on Tennessee money line. Throw out +7, +7.5, whatever your book has. Give me Tennessee money line +220 to beat Alabama. Let's make our Saturday fun. Volunteers all day, every day. So excited for this weekend's games. We'll be back potentially tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. If not, we'll be back Sunday morning breaking down a full NFL slate, and we can't wait for you to join us. Have a wonderful rest of your day. See ya.